Well, Ukraine's allies today slammed Russia for chairing a UN Security Council meeting that was designed to discuss protecting the United Nations Charter, the charter which Russia violated when it invaded Ukraine. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that the world is reaching a dangerous threshold, but he blamed the West for the state of affairs. Now, before the meeting, Lavrov said that the UN is facing a, quote, profound crisis. He blamed the U.S. and made accusations of American economic aggression.
Distinguished colleagues, we have reached a threshold maybe more dangerous than in the Cold War, worsened by the loss of and faith in multilateralism, as the financial and economic aggression of the West destroys the benefits of globalization, when the U.S. and its allies abandon diplomacy and demand relations be clarified on the battlefield, all this in the halls of the United Nations, created to prevent the horrors of war.
Well, our correspondent, Amian Esef, he is in New York covering today's meeting of the UN Security Council. Amian, it's good to see you. There was a lot of, blaming, shifting the blame today for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I'm wondering, who was Sergei Lavrov? Who was he really speaking to today with his speech?
That's a really good question, because it certainly wasn't the United States and it wasn't Ukraine. He was critical of United States global power. And it seems that he was addressing those countries around the world that are critical of the U.S.'s use of its status as a superpower to, quote unquote, force its Western-style democracy in all areas of the world. Now, there is Brazil, which is sitting as a rotating member of the Security Council, which has recently made headlines for refusing to support Ukraine with weapons, arguing instead for a negotiated peace. And I believe that Russia really hopes to bring in these countries that are kind of sitting on the fence between U.S. and Russian power and create some kind of an alliance. In that regard, Lavrov's attempt here failed today. Brazil did use the opportunity to criticize U.S. power and call for multilateralism on a global stage, but the Brazilian representative also condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, pointing out and suggesting that it was more of a violation of the UN Charter than any kind of protocol violations with respect to negotiations. So most countries really sat at the table, listened to Lavrov, and then after his speech said, well, Lavrov, sir, Russia is the one that broke the UN Charter by invading Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you, what type of blowback did Lavrov get from Ukraine's Western allies after this speech?
It was surprisingly civil, the response within the UN Security Council meeting today, this open debate. You had many countries thanking Russia for presiding over the conference. Nobody walked out in protest, as some people had hoped, as Ukraine had alluded to as a possible measure to show Russia that it's not welcome at the table anymore. Everybody sat there and they listened to the debate and they participated in it, because multilateralism is a founding principle of the UN. Now, what that could show, however, is that is itself a rebuke of Russia's attempt to kind of hijack this debate here and claim multilateralism as its own principle here. By participating in this debate, they showed Russia that we're following the principles of the UN, and that doesn't change our opinion that the invasion of Ukraine is illegal.
DW's Amian Esef with the latest tonight from UN headquarters in New York. Amian, thank you.